Welcome to the Queen's Table podcast. I'm your host, Marissa J, and today we are going to talk boundaries. We are talking boundaries today, but let me link it to something relevant. All right, so y'all gonna get off my boy Joe Rogan, okay? Point blank, period. Leave Joe Rogan alone. Leave that man alone. Okay, so if you, I guess, have been living under a rock, Joe Rogan, Spotify paid him like over $10 million to move his platform over to Spotify. So he is exclusively on Spotify. You cannot get any of his newer episodes like in full unless it's on Spotify. So he'll put out like current clips and stuff like that on YouTube or whatever, but like to listen to the whole episode, you have to go on Spotify. So Spotify paid him $10 million to do that. Now, Spotify also pays like other artists and stuff, but they don't be paying them like that. So apparently they only get paid like singers, songwriters, stuff like that. They only get paid like pennies on the dollar. Whereas Joe Rogan signed this $10 million contract to bring his platform over there. So that's been like kind of an underlying issue. But since Joe Rogan is the type of dude that he is, if you don't know Joe Rogan is like, he comes off as this like super masculine, hyper masculine dude, right? But if you have followed him and like his career and all the stuff that he's done, you get to see, you get to feel like a real appreciation for him. I appreciate Joe Rogan. To me, he's just a very, very curious guy. He's a very curious guy. He likes to ask lots of questions, and he'll have different people on his podcast to like talk about shit. So dude has been doing this for well over a decade, okay? Like 10, 11, 12, some odd years. He's been doing it for a minute, okay? He's been doing his podcast for forever. Right now, he puts out like 3 episodes a week. And each episode, they're like at least an hour and a half long. So he's talking to these folks like this is his full-time job. Like this is what he does, you know? He just talks and talks and talks and talks and talks to people. And the thing about it is this: if you talk to that many people on a regular basis, you're bound to say some wild ass shit. Okay? I'm fairly positive you can go back and find something that I've said that was wild as fuck. So if you talk long enough, you're gonna say some off the wall shit. It's just bound to happen. Okay? Now, the people that he has on lots of different people. He has on like a lot of progressives, a lot of conservatives. He'll have on like all different types of people. He calls some people out. Some people call him out. It is what it is. And then they just keep it moving because that's kind of what you got to do. So he has all these doctors on that, you know, are saying all of this stuff. You can look it up. You can go Google it. Okay. But there are some doctors on there saying some shit that wasn't true. Joe Rogan spouted it off to somebody else. They corrected him. And he was like, oh, I must have been wrong on that. And then boom, keep it moving. At least once an episode, that shit happens. You know, like his producer, Jamie, he's in the background. He's fact checking everything. He's pulling shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the dude. So, like, there's been times where Jamie has corrected Joe Rogan. It happens. But because it's this inflamed topic, people are just losing their shit because somebody says something wrong on Joe Rogan's podcast. Listen, Joe Rogan doesn't present himself to be the news. Okay? He's not like, hey, I'm a journalist and I'm out here and, you know, whatever. No, he's just a really fucking curious guy. If you don't know Joe Rogan, Most people remember him from Fear Factor. He used to host Fear Factor back in the day. Y'all remember that show, Fear Factor? He used to host it. Okay, y'all remember Dave Chappelle? I need some crack, Joe Rogan. You know, like Joe Rogan. Okay, he used to be an MMA fighter. He does a lot of commentary for these fights and stuff nowadays. He's a comedian. He's been doing comedy for forever and a day. Like, dude is a funny ass dude. He got a special or two on Netflix. Go check him out. Like, he's really fucking funny. I love this guy. And like everybody that meets him, they always have nothing but good things to say. That is a really genuine dude. That is a really cool dude. He's just cool. He's laid back. You know, he's just a dude. He's just a dude. And Joe Rogan is just a dude. So in this whole wooty woo, there are artists out there now that are taking off their songs off of Spotify. They're like, okay, so Joe Rogan spreads all this misinformation, and so I'm taking my shit off of the platform. Now, all of this is going on in January, mind you. Okay, like this is all like the whole hoopty law. Just it started off in January, jumped off in late January. So like, okay. People were taking their songs and their music off of Spotify, but it wasn't enough for Spotify to be like, well, we'll just put a disclaimer on his episodes, or now everything comes with the disclaimer. Boom, fix the problem. Now they're mad, so they're just like, okay, we have to make this guy radioactive. We've got to make it to where nobody wants to fuck with him. What's the best way to do that? Show a montage of this white man saying the N-word. Now, every time that he has said the N-word, okay, he has been using it in context of like, this word is so nuclear and it's such a different word because some people can say it and some people can't say it. He understands that you can't say it. He didn't understand that you can't say it in any context. Just say the N-word. That's all you have to do is just say the N-word. You don't have to say the actual word. You're talking about how it can inflame people so much, but here you are just saying it all willy-nilly. Now, just because he said the word does not make him a racist. Okay? We've got to be able to differentiate. Just because he said the word, it doesn't make him a racist. As soon as the video comes out, he comes out with this whole big long thing like, yo, and then there was like a really bad joke that he had made. But like in the middle of the joke, like immediately after he said the fucked up thing, he was like, ooh, that didn't sound right. Like he was literally just talking. And then in the middle of him talking, he was just like, oh, fuck. I said, ooh, ooh, that didn't come out right. I didn't mean it like that. Like, have you not ever done that? So like this guy, this super curious guy that is just has a microphone and people listen to him. He's not claiming to be the news. He's not claiming to be anything other than a super curious guy that likes to talk to really interesting people. I love Joe Rogan for that. He's very, very curious. But also, at the same time, you got to understand, this man is 54 years old. He's 54. Not everything kind of, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying like he's an old dude that just don't understand, but like things are moving in a very rapid way, at a very rapid pace. And 54 is not old. It's not old at all. But, compared to what's going on now, I'm old. I don't know how to use the Twitter machine still. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like things are just kind of progressing in a way, and he missed that boat, that progressive boat. He was busy talking to somebody. He just missed it. And he didn't realize that he missed it. But as soon as he did, he came out. He was like, "Yo, like even listening to that, it just made my stomach curl. Like this, it was disgusting to have to listen to it in this montage." But at the same time, to his defense, he wasn't saying, oh, this person's a nigger and that person's a nigger and nigger this and nigger. It wasn't that. He was using it in... If you don't listen to Joe Rogan, then, I mean, I really... It's the same thing with the whole Dave Chappelle thing. If you didn't watch the special, you don't have anything valid to say. If you don't listen to Joe Rogan, you don't have anything valid to say. You saw this, however long clip it was, and then just made your own decisions from there. Or worse, you hopped on somebody else's decision. Joe Rogan is not a toxic dude. And we've got to be able to stop doing that. Just putting everybody in these bubbles to make them so untouchable. You know what I'm saying? Like, the right, the conservative right, there's a couple of good things that I can say about them. There are a couple of good things I could say about them. And one of the good things that I could say about them is that they are not afraid to go onto any kind of platform. They will go onto the most liberal platforms if those hosts allow it. So, Charlamagne talks about his favorite, one of his favorite conservative talking heads is Tucker Carlson. I can't fucking stand Tucker Carlson. I cannot stand him at all. But some of the shit that he says is pretty wild and it's kind of funny. So, like, you got to be able to just separate. You got to be able to separate. The thing about it is this. Joe immediately comes out and was like, yeah, I fucked up. I was wrong. I fucked up. I was wrong. I was wrong. I fucked up. I fucked up. I was wrong. And then people still want something done to him. You showed him a wrong. He admitted to that wrong. And now folks don't know how to act about it. People still don't know how to feel about it. Folks out there still calling him racist. And it's just like, all of this information is out there for you to consume. His older episodes still on YouTube. YouTube is free. So, I mean, where's the disconnect? At this point, you're just being lazy. Okay, you didn't see the Dave Chappelle episode. Maybe because you don't have Netflix. Okay, fine. Fine, whatever. YouTube is free. You can go to the public library, log on, and get on YouTube. It's free. So, like, if you're still calling him a racist, that's just you being lazy on your part. You've got the you've got the tools right in front of you. But just as it is important for people to acknowledge when they fucked up, it's just as important to acknowledge that person when they have acknowledged that they fucked up. So, like, at this point, we don't really know what to do. We don't know how to react because not a lot of people, we're used to the pushback. We're used to the people, oh, well, you said this like super hot button, thing, whatever. And now we're going to try to blast you. Now we're going to try to cancel you. And that person is like, you know what? That was a fucked up thing to say. And now I know not to do that. I understand now. I didn't understand at the time that, I was just saying it in this context. And to my defense, I wasn't calling anybody that. But at the same time, now I understand that it can't be used in any context. So we got to take the word out of our vocabulary. Okay, fine. I'm on board. Now we still don't know how to act. People are out there still wanting him canceled. Why? Why? Why is it that we are so for cancellation? Y'all just so mad. You just want to take this man's bag. For what reason? For what reason? Another thing is knowing where to set these boundaries that we're talking about. Okay, so how did I missed it. I missed the link. Sorry. This was a bad segue. I'm not editing none of this shit. So that was a bad segue. Okay. So going back to boundaries. So you still have these people that have taken their stuff off of Spotify. And like, okay, so India Ari, I believe it was India Ari. Yeah, it was India Ari. I think it was India Ari. You can Google it. She came out and she was like, yo, I'm not saying that he's a racist. I just don't like the way that he, chooses to carry his words and stuff. Even though he said that he's going to change that. That's, I guess, neither here nor there. Maybe this video came out before he said that. I don't know. But she was like, I'm not for cancellation. I'm for curation. And she is trying to curate the space that she wants to take up. And she doesn't want to share that space with somebody like Joe Rogan. Okay, fine. I can respect that. He's not for everybody. Not everybody is for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, she doesn't like the stuff that he talks about. Okay, cool. I didn't like how Howard Stern conducted himself in a lot of situations. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody's for everybody. That includes Joe Rogan. So Joe Rogan is not for her. So she's like in a space in which Spotify, it's not what he said. It's not even how he said it, but it's the fact that Spotify would give this man a $10 million contract and only pay me pennies on the dollar, and he's able to say all this wild ass shit. Like, I'm not trying to be a part of that. And that's what she did. She set that boundary, and she took the steps to get back from that. And I think that that's cool. She's not saying, she's not shitting on Joe Rogan. She can create her own space without having to shit on anybody else. And I think that's beautiful. And we've got to learn how to start doing that. We can agree to disagree. Okay. But at the same time, if I set a boundary, I'm going to expect for you to respect that boundary in the same way that you would expect for me to set a boundary that you have set. You feel me? So knowing where to set these boundaries are just as important as acknowledging your fuck ups and acknowledging other people who fucked up. Acknowledging that they have acknowledged that they're fucked up or that they fucked up. Y'all know what the fuck I'm trying to say. So the thing about it is knowing where to set those boundaries. Because, like, sometimes people are like, they go way, way overboard with it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, a little bit of struggle can be good for you. It helps you to appreciate, times when they're good, because you can't, you can appreciate times when they're good, but when you've been at the lowest of lows, you appreciate those highs so much better. You feel me? A little bit of struggle could be good for you. And it's also a good kind of placeholder, a little marker, so to speak. So that way you can know exactly where that boundary line is. You know what I'm saying? You've got to be able to work out of your comfort zone. You feel me? So that way you know where that boundary is. Okay, I did that, and I pushed myself further than what I wanted to push myself. I understand I don't like it. Or, hey, I pushed myself and I could do it. I mean, like, it's not that horrible. You know what I'm saying? You could do it like that. But either way, being able to set these realistic boundaries, because you can't be unrealistic about it. Are we being realistic in our expectations when it comes to boundaries? So being able to set these boundaries, yeah, that's and having the appropriate place to set them. So listen, I didn't want to be on here ranting and raving for too awful long, but I got a little bit of homework assignment for you. So check this out. Tonight, what I want you to do is I want you to list 3 boundaries that you can set for work, your personal life, and your spiritual life. Okay? Work, personal life, spiritual life. Set 3 boundaries for each. So, like, with like your work one, you can say, like, I'm not going to take calls after 5 p.m. That's a boundary. You know what I'm saying? Like, that you tell the people, you don't have to tell everybody, you ain't got to shout it from the rooftops. But for the people that usually call you after business hours or when you're not on the clock, now if you're a manager, that's a different story. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody ain't supposed to be calling you and they calling you all the time, hey, I don't take calls after 5 p.m. Boom. That's a work boundary. All right. Your personal life, you can limit your social media time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to be on social media, or I'm not going to respond to any of the comment, whatever. Your spiritual life, maybe you do something that goes against your spiritual beliefs. Like, maybe you might be Muslim, and maybe you drink and smoke every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? Maybe stop doing that. Set boundaries. List 3 realistic boundaries for each of these tonight. And just kind of keep it with you. Just, you don't have to look at it every single day, but just write it down. Keep it by your bedside, under your pillow, under your mattress, whatever. And just, refer to it every once in a while. And make sure that you are doing what you can do realistically to keep said boundaries. All right, that's it. Bye.